It's good for me, and I think it's good for all of you to listen to Shane Steichen talk about Daniel Jones this week, because I got to tell you the truth, I'm not optimistic about how this is going to work. But listening to Shane Steichen, it's obvious that he is optimistic about how Daniel Jones is going to play on Sunday and how he's going to play throughout the season. And maybe through that osmosis, that level of communication, he can get us to believe in it, at least up until Sunday kick, because I need some hope. I want some hope that Daniel Jones is going to be able to play at a high level, manage his mistakes, but still make some big plays. Shane Steichen seems to think that that's going to happen. But first, we hear from him talk about Jim Irsay and what Jim Irsay and honoring Jim Irsay means to the franchise and means to him personally.
The word that comes to mind when I think about it is just gratitude. Just thankful, you know what I mean? Anytime, you're in this league, you never take for granted. It's a blessing to be a part of this thing, and for him to, give me the opportunity to be here. And not only me, but every single person that's in this building says a lot about, who he is. Just like we always talk about the generosity and the person he is and how he treated people the right way consistently. And it's always pulling and had everyone's back. So to honor him this season will be big for us.
Do you do something to acknowledge? I mean, you guys are playing the Dolphins. You have to worry about the Dolphins. But you do something to acknowledge the Ring of Honor? And obviously, the teams aren't even through everything. But
yeah, we have some stuff that you guys will see here coming out. But yeah, definitely, we're going to honor them with a whole bunch of different things this year for sure.
This is your third year as a play caller. Do you feel any differently entering this year? Like, do you feel like things are more open for you? This squad this year?
I think with anything as a play caller, obviously you try to attack the defense any way you can and put our guys in position to make plays. And obviously having a feel for the game, I think, is a big part of play calling, when to call certain things from a down and distance standpoint, run pass. Obviously we have tendencies as play callers, just like defensive coordinators have tendencies. So, you obviously you want to try and hit it at the right time on certain things, but feel really confident in our guys' abilities to go make plays, and obviously it's our job to put those guys in position to go make those plays.
When you don't have film on the Dolphins defense this year, how big is that challenge, building a game plan and figuring out where to attack and everything?
Well, I think schematically, looking at their defense, I think they do a good job. I got a lot of respect for their D coordinator and what he's done there, and obviously him being in Baltimore, I think he does a good job of mixing things up on the back end. They got good rushers. Obviously, they signed Judon. Chubb's been there, good rusher. Phillips, I know he's had some injuries, but when he's healthy, he's going pretty good. And Chop Robinson's a hell of a player too. And then inside, obviously with Seiler, he's a veteran player that's really good. And Jones, and they got Grant, from Michigan. So that D-line's really solid. So we got to do a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. But from a schematic standpoint, obviously, him being there, with his scheme and how he does things, it's really just like the personnel, some of those guys coming back.
Shane, as a head coach, not just where did you feel like you needed to grow coming into year 3?
I think just everything, like you learn as you go, right? Some things you learn and you want to tweak, just like even this morning in the team meeting, just being more precise on how we're going to win the game. I always talk about how to win the game, but it's like, hey, here are the main things, right? You can have like 6 or 7 things, but here are the 3 things that we need to do on offense and defense and special teams to win the game. Be very clear and direct in that. And like I said, the messaging's got to be on point every single week on how we need to win the game, and continue to be a leader, right? I always talk about leadership. It's an inspire, empower, and guide. And that's my job as a head coach.
And what are those 3 things you got to do on offense?
I'm not going to tell you that because I'm telling the Dolphins.
Shane, a big opportunity for Daniel, QB1 for you guys. So what do you hope to see from your quarterback this week?
With him, I'm excited for his opportunity. Stay steady, find completions, keep us on track. You know what I mean? And at that position, that's what it is. It's finding completions, moving the football, and not making bad plays worse. And I talk about the operation, feel very confident in his operation at the line of scrimmage, getting us in and out of the right plays. And I know the team feels confident in that as well.
What sticks out to you about the way he sees football?
That's good. I think from a cerebral standpoint, just talking to him, when you talk to him in the meeting rooms, when you talk to him on the practice field, he sees things, and there's always little side discussions like, hey, if I see this, hey, I might get to this, because there's no one covering that guy. You know what I mean? And obviously that comes with experience, and but those conversations that I've had with him and that he's had with his teammates have been really solid. So I think that's going to pay dividends for us.
We've talked a lot about pre-snap stuff, the operational stuff, just post-snap, like playing the actual game, throwing the ball. What stands out to you about his ability to make those kinds of
Yeah, I think obviously you got to see, the defense, the shell coverage, how they're rotating, all those different things, and that comes with a lot of film study that he puts in. So I think seeing the rotation, middle field closed, middle field open, seeing how the defense is playing it, and then you go from there, and then you make your throws off this. Obviously, you have your reads, but you got to have a little feel to it too on how guys are playing, whether they're playing tight coverage man or spot drop zone, all those different things. You got to have good feel for that.
Shane, it's a week-to-week league. We always talk about that, but is there any symbolism to winning week one? Like, is that a tone setter at all? Or
Yeah, I think so. I think it's big. We obviously want to win week one. Obviously, we want to, break that streak that we've had here for a long time. So I think it's important for all teams to start off 1-0. And I just told the guys too, start fast and finish strong. I talked about creating an edge, and we got to play with an edge, come Sunday.
When you say stay on track or keep us on track with Daniel, what kind of altered your thinking of like, all right, it's not just gonna be the home run hitter, quarterback, self-creator, it's gonna be more of the methodical, keep us on track?
Yeah, I think with that is just like when I think about keeping on track, it's like, hey, it could be, whatever, 1st and 10, and we have a shot called and it's not there, and he gets it, do a check down or whatever, and gets us to 2nd and 2 instead of being in 2nd and 10 in those passing situations. So that's keeping us on track, finding those easy completions too.
Shane, you've been really high, obviously, on Daniel's cerebral, you said that word a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe you just are more focused on cerebral than anything else. I don't hear you talk a lot about how's the ball looking at his hand. How does he, just physically, how's he going?
Yeah, great. He throws with great touch, anticipation. Seen that through training camp. Obviously, seen it the last couple of weeks since we've been back here. Like I said, he finds completions, and I think that's a big part of this thing. Is knowing how to throw it, when to throw it, and where to throw it. And I think he's done a really nice job of that.
One of the few quarterbacks who find completions better than Tua on the other side of the ball. What do you have to do to limit what they do, just kind of methodically working the ball downfield?
Yeah, no question. I think obviously it starts, the quarterback does a great job of getting the ball in his hands very quick. He throws the spots, and Waddle and Tyreek are really good players. So obviously having a plan for those guys, and the running back's a good player. I think they do a good job with a lot of the things they do on offense. So we just got to be on our P's and Q's with all the stuff that they do, and make sure we're detail oriented going into this game.
How big will it be for Orleans development to have Daniel specifically as the quarterback?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Obviously, there could be good communication between those two guys, which I've seen obviously through training camp, and just how they talk about protections and certain things, and getting to the right calls and the right checks. So I think it'll be good for both.
How do you evaluate Daniel as a runner? I know we talk a lot about his passing, which is obviously important, but there's another element too. I'm reminded that when he's had success in the league.
Yeah, no, I think he's a sneaky runner. I think sometimes, obviously, when he was in New York, some of those zone read things he did were very beneficial for him, and I think there's a time and a place for that, when the opportunity presents itself. But I think he does a good job and knowing, when to pull it, whatever that may be, within the scheme. But I think, like I said, I think he's averaged like 4.6 yards a carry in his career, so he can run the football, and that's another element to it.
When a guy is good at finding, like you were saying earlier, if this happens, this guy's going to be open back here. What does that say about how they play and how they kind of keep all that information in the right spots?
I think it's just knowing what the defense is doing, at all times. Obviously, you'll get tricked every once in a while. That's part of football. But like I said, when the coverage picture changes, just knowing where to go with the football. Like, we may have reads, and it's, hey, we're 1, 2, 3, check down, but it's like, I don't know, that guy's way off over here, and no one's covering that guy, and I'm gonna throw it to that guy. And that's just having the feel and seeing the game.
Your history in the league, do you notice week one trends at all? Like, more penalties, consistency with?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think too, week one, some teams, I don't know, it's different, right? I mean, some teams can come out firing, some teams start off a little slow. I mean, I think there's a little mix of all that. People are trying to find out, who they are early. But I don't have anything, real tendencies there.
You guys touched base on it earlier with the playmaking that Miami has just over the years with Mike there. You guys have had some explosive plays too over the years. I can imagine heading into week one, if it gets into a situation where it's big play after big play keeps happening, you feel comfortable staying with that. And on the other side, because it is week one, if it becomes one of those, let's grind this thing out, you got to feel pretty good about that as well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I always say, like, if something ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, if you're, getting, explosive plays, keep going after them. And same thing, run game, pass game, whatever that may be, situational stuff, and we go from there.
Do you get a sense from Daniel that this is an opportunity to, I don't know if it's prove something, but he's a competitive guy, new opportunity here in Indianapolis to show that he can still play at a high level?
Yeah, absolutely. A new environment, new opportunity for him to go out and prove it. You know what I mean? He's had success in this league. He's had his ups and downs, like I said, but it's a great opportunity for him on Sunday in this season to go prove it.
There's Steichen. See what I'm talking about? I think that's genuine optimism. All right, we got 4 days until the opener, and he's genuinely optimistic that Daniel Jones is going to put the Colts in the right position to keep moving the chains and get points at a level that outscores the opponent, and that's the point of the game, isn't it? We hope that that comes to pass on Sunday, because if it doesn't, I mean, that's going to be, what would that be, 12 in a row? 12 in a row? Openers, non-wins, one tie, right? The rest losses? Completely unacceptable, completely ridiculous, and hopefully that stops on Sunday.